The universe, vast and filled with countless species and civilizations, had never seen anything quite like the humans of the Outer Rim. To most of the other galactic species, humanity was a curiosity, a backwater, blue-collar species with a penchant for trouble, grit, and an uncanny ability to survive even the harshest conditions. The humans had come from a planet of oceans, mountains, and forests, a world so rich in resources that they had no choice but to spread out and conquer the stars. But unlike the sleek, highly advanced civilizations that dotted the cosmos, humans had built their empire on the backs of giant industrial machines, oil rigs, and low-tech ingenuity. The Galactic Council, composed of the more refined and intellectual races, had dismissed humanity as a nuisance, a breed of roughnecks and scavengers who stumbled from one conflict to the next, often with no real understanding of the consequences. Their ships were a far cry from the sleek, energy-efficient vessels of the Elvani or the crystalline ships of the Clores, who prided themselves on harmony with the universe. But humanity didn't need pristine ships. They didn't need elegance or refinement. They had something far more potent: stubbornness, resourcefulness, and a complete lack of care for galactic norms. Humanity's rise to power began quietly, at first, just a few ships darting across the stars, mining asteroids, collecting salvage, and doing jobs no one else wanted. But as their numbers grew and their knowledge of the universe expanded, something peculiar began to happen. Humans started pushing back against the established powers of the galaxy. Where others saw obstacles, humans saw opportunity. They didn't care that their methods were crude, or that their weapons were little more than glorified cannons attached to rusting freighters. They were willing to fight for what they wanted, even if it meant taking on entire fleets with nothing more than their bare hands and a bucket of space grease. It wasn't long before humanity became a force to be reckoned with. The human-controlled colonies on the fringe of space became known for their no-nonsense attitudes and their willingness to make enemies out of anyone who crossed them. The other species found it hard to understand why humans didn't act like them, why they didn't conform to galactic expectations of civility and sophistication. The humans, on the other hand, didn't see the need for any of that. They were just fine the way they were, and if the galaxy didn't like it, then they could go ahead and try to stop them. One day, the Galactic Council made the mistake of underestimating humanity. The Council had grown tired of humanity's backward ways and decided to put an end to their expansion. They dispatched a fleet of the most advanced warships the galaxy had ever seen, armed with the latest in quantum weaponry and shield technology. Their mission was simple: destroy humanity's fleet in the Outer Rim and send a clear message. The humans, however, had anticipated this. They had learned the art of warfare from 1,000 battles fought in space. They knew that a frontal assault would be suicidal, so instead, they lured the Council's fleet into a trap. What the Galactic Council didn't know was that humanity had a secret weapon, and that weapon was a whole lot of duct tape. When the fleet arrived, expecting a well-organized resistance, they instead found a ragtag group of human ships waiting for them. These ships, battered and broken, looked like they had been through hell. Old freighters with mismatched parts, cargo ships that had been converted into makeshift warships, and deep space mining rigs that had been retrofitted with old weaponry all lined up in a loose formation. The sight of the fleet was enough to make any sophisticated alien race pause, but the Council had no idea what they were in for. As soon as the first shot was fired, the human ships launched into action. Their tactics were simple: hit hard, hit fast, and never back down. The Council's fleet began to fire with precision, but the human ships, lacking the advanced shielding systems of their foes, used their wits to avoid direct hits. They wove through debris fields, hiding behind asteroids and space stations, launching surprise attacks from every direction. One human ship, the Redneck Ravager, used a wrecked alien warship as a decoy, luring the enemy into a kill zone and then springing a trap of explosives set up by human engineers. The alien ships, more used to sophisticated tactics, were caught off guard. But the humans had something else that no other species in the galaxy could understand: an uncanny ability to make do with what they had. When their ships began to take hits, they patched up the holes with whatever materials they could find, slapping metal plates over exposed wiring and using makeshift tools to keep their engines running. They didn't have the luxury of high-tech repair systems. Instead, they relied on the grit and ingenuity they'd perfected back on Earth. Every time an alien ship thought it had taken down a human vessel, it was greeted with a wave of surprise when the ship returned to the fray moments later, patched together and ready for more. As the battle raged on, the alien fleet began to fall apart. Human ships, damaged and scarred, fought with relentless determination, taking out advanced warships and turning the tide of battle. The Council, in shock and disbelief, tried to regroup, but it was too late. Their pride and their underestimation of humanity had cost them dearly. In the end, humanity's ships emerged victorious. The Galactic Council, once so confident in their superiority, had underestimated the humans, thinking them nothing more than space rednecks with an affinity for rusted machinery and brawling tactics. But the humans had proven that they didn't need to follow the rules of the galaxy to succeed. They just needed to keep fighting, no matter how impossible the odds seemed. Their victory became legendary, not just because of their tactics, but because of their spirit. They had fought like they had always fought, with their bare hands, their grit, and an unyielding refusal to back down. From that day on, humanity's reputation spread across the galaxy. To the other species, they were the ultimate wild card, unpredictable, determined, and a little crazy. And every time a new species looked down on humanity's rough-and-tumble ways, they were reminded of one important fact. Space rednecks don't just survive in the galaxy, they conquer it.